everyone, this is Enchantress, and this is the continuation of our ZEPETOR class. For today, what I will be discussing is how to create clothes with modified skin. Yesterday, we left off in the part where we downloaded Unity, and then we also downloaded ZEPETO Studio Unity project files, and we also downloaded Maya. Since we already set up our tools, we will now proceed with downloading the creator base set, which is the file that we need to use for rigging work, and then the 3D mask object, which is the file that we need for 3D mask work. Just click download. Once you downloaded the two files that I mentioned earlier, go to the remove boundary on body page. It's under the 3D guide, and there is a female torso FBX. We will also need that since we are going to model women's wears. Let me show you the reference image. And once you downloaded all the files, go to download, and these two files here needs to be extracted. Kindly do that. Extract, and then the mask object as well. Extract it. And then just so I will not have any confusion, I will just put all together under the desktop folder so I can easily locate it. And also the female torso. So there, we already have it all together under the desktop folder. And then I will now open Maya. So I usually open it by selecting Run as Administrator because I find that it prevents Maya from crashing. It's up to you. You can just open it the normal way, double clicking it. But I do that all the time. Run as Administrator. And there we have Maya open. First thing that you need to do, of course, is to import the file that we downloaded. And since we are modeling women's wear, I need the female torso file, this one. We don't need the creator base set yet. As I mentioned earlier, it's used for rigging work. And then the mask object, if you are going to create clothes for men, and you don't need the bust and the belly button, you can use the mask object. But I will need to use the female torso. And this is how it looks like. So it has the female torso and the guide mannequin. I usually use the guide mannequin because it has the entire body. The female torso object, I use it only to see where I need to cut the skin, because as I mentioned in our first lesson, ZEPETO has some limitations when it comes to the number of polygons or the triangles. So as you can see here, for dresses, any type of dress, the maximum number of triangles needs to be 10,000 and below. So we cannot go over that. For the skin, we will need to cut it so that we can reduce the number of triangles or polygons. We need to cut it this part, here and here, and also this part. This is the guide where you need to cut your skin, not your actual skin, the skin of the avatar. I will just delete this because I don't really need that. I already know where to cut the skin object. We are left with a guide. Usually, the creator have issues with the female torso file because it is in A pose. A pose, it looks like this. The arms are slightly downward. It looks like a letter A, right? Most of the time, creators use a guide or a skin that is in T pose. T pose means that the arms are located or positioned here and here. To fix that, what I did with the female torso is I imported the creator base set that we downloaded earlier. Let me import that. Let me hide this. To hide an object in your scene, you can just select it under the outliner box and then hold Control plus H on your keyboard, and it will hide the object. As you can see, this is the creator base set. So under this folder, it has the mask, which is this, and then let me turn on the X-ray view, and then the hips. This is the joint. So we need this to rig the item because the joint is basically the controller or what influences the movement of the avatar. So this is the joint, this round thing here. This is what we call the joint. So this is what influences the movement of the avatar. And this long object here, which connects the joints together, this is what we call the bones. So always remember that this is the bone, the connector, and this is the joint. So this is the creator base set is in T-pose, which is perfect because this is what I prefer to use when I'm creating clothes. To make the guide, the female torso guide, into a T-pose, this is what I do. You need to go to the ZEPETOR base set. You have to click the plus button here so it will expand and you will see the mass and the hips. So under hips, click the plus sign again to expand it, and then under spine, you have to keep on clicking the plus sign until you get to this shoulder L and shoulder R. So you need to select that. How do you select it? So under the outliner, hold Control button on your keyboard and then select the two joints that we need. So shoulder L and shoulder R. And then you need to go to channel box. So there, it looks like this, the icon. You need to click that. And then you need to go to the box where it says rotate Z. So in rotate Z, enter -7.5. There. So the shoulder L and R change positions after we put this value here. And then the next step is to select the upper arm and the upper arm L and the upper arm R. So go again to the channel box and then under the rotate Z option, enter -40. And then there, the creator base set is now in A pose, which is similar to the guide. I will do rigging with the guide so that it will follow the movement of the creator base set. I will not really elaborate on the rigging at this point because that is included in our 3rd week class. I will just do some rigging work here. Go to rigging and then bind skin. I already set it up to the bind skin settings that I use. And then mask, guide, copy skin weight. There. Once you did that, the guide is already connected to the creator base set, so it will follow its movements. Go back to the hips, and then shoulder L, shoulder R. Return it to the 0 value. There. So it followed the movement of the joints. I will select the upper arm L and upper arm right, and then set it to 0. There. So now the guide mannequin is in T-pose, which is what I need. After that, what I will need to do is to delete the creator base set because we don't need that during our modeling work. We only need the skin or the guide. But before you delete this, because if you will just delete it right away, to delete an object, you just have to select it and then on your keyboard, backspace or delete. So as you can see, when I deleted the creator base set, the guide just went back to the A pose, which is not I want to happen. So I will undo that. To undo, Control Z, remember, so or just the letter Z on your keyboard. Control Z. And then it went back to the T pose because we undid the action. So before deleting the creator base set, you have to select the guide and duplicate it. To duplicate an object, Control button on your keyboard and then D. There, it's already duplicated. And what we need is the duplicated object, this one. So now we can delete the creator base set. I will show you what will happen. There. So the original guide went back to A pose. I don't want that. I will delete that. But as you can see, the duplicated object remained in the T-pose. So that's how I created the female torso guide in T-pose. Now the next thing that I will do, I will just name it, name it skin, because it will be the skin of our clothes or the dress that we will make. And then I will import the mask. There. So this is the mask, and then this is the skin. So now there, if you notice here at this part, the arm, the skin and the mask, the edges here, as you can see, they are not aligned to each other, and I need them aligned because I will cut the skin around here, and if I do that and submit it to ZEPETO, it will have the boundary between the skin and the body of the avatar. This is what I'm referring to. So this is the boundary. There is a thin line between the skin and the body of the avatar around the neck area, because this is where the skin was cut. And also this, it's not really visible, but there is like a thin line on the arm part, and I don't like that. ZEPETO mentioned here that they will reject items that has boundary between the skin and the body. So to prevent that from happening, what I will do is I will cut the part of this mask, because the mask file is basically the default ZEPETO body. If you use this as your skin, it won't have those boundaries. I will use the portion of the mask here in the arm up until here, and then connect it to the skin, the portion of the skin here. So how to do that? Let's hide the mask. Hold the control button and then click the H button on your keyboard, and it's already hidden. To unhide an object, you just have to hold shift and then H, but I will need that to be hidden. We will work on the skin first. This is just a part that I don't want to use, that I want to replace with the portion of the mask. So I will delete this part here. Go to face selection mode, and then select all the faces here. I will just select this. So hold shift and then select all the faces that you want to be deleted. And then to delete, just click delete or backspace on your keyboard, and there, it's deleted. And then I want to remove the remaining objects or the polygons here, so I will just double click on one face, and it selected the entire thing. So delete again, and then also select this and then delete. I only have this part of the skin, which is what I need. And then I will work on the mask. I will hide the skin and then unhide the mask. And then since we cut the skin around here, I will cut the mask. Since, as you can see, this is an entire face loop around, there is no other division, unlike here in this part. So to select this entire face loop, just select one face, hold the shift button, select one face, and then double click the face bit beside it. It selected the entire face loop, so delete that, and then delete the remaining part here down. So there, we already deleted the parts that we don't want from the mask. And then I will unhide the skin, and there. To combine these objects, let me just adjust the skin first, because I need to see a gap, like the indicator where I cut the skin and the mask. I went to edge selection, double click on edge, and then There, I just need to see like a gap, so I will know which is the skin and which is the mask. And then, to combine both objects, you have to select them both by holding Control and then select the two objects and then go to Modeling and then under Mesh, select Combine. And the two objects are already combined. After you combine objects, you have to go to Edit and then either delete all by type if there's no other objects in your scene, or just delete by type if there's other objects that you're still working on your scene. But I will choose this one. So what I selected is delete all by type, and then history. Earlier I selected that, and then next I will select the non-deformer history. I'll just delete this one. Now we can work on the object that we combined earlier. So there, when you do this, you will be able to prevent any boundary between your skin and the body of the avatar wearing your item, since the mask is aligned with the body of the avatar. So now what I need to do is to combine these edges to each other. I will need to attach this to each other so that they will become one body. To do that, we will now be using the Symmetry Tool. So let me just give you a quick discussion regarding the Symmetry Tool, because there are options here and I want you to know what are the differences between these 6 options. We don't really need this one. We just usually use these options. So let me hide the skin first so I can properly discuss about the Symmetry Tool, and then I will create a different object here. When you select the polymodeling and then polygon cylinder, it will create a polygon object, or cylinder object on your scene, and it's located at the middle of the scene or the panel. So now I will turn on the Object X Symmetry Tool. So what it does is that everything that you select on the left or the right side of this polygon, it will also select the symmetrical component on the other side. So as long as you select the Object X, because the X position is basically the left and right of the scene. So if you select Object X, every component that you will select in the right side, this is the right side, it will also select that the symmetrical component on the left side. So make sure that your polygon is symmetrical, because if it's not, let me maybe change, no, let me turn that out. I will change this side to make it not symmetrical. So if it's not symmetrical to each other and then you turn this on, it will not work. It will not select the other vertex, unlike the earlier. So I will undo that. So now, whatever component that you will select on the right side, it will be selected on the other side if you turn on the Object X option. And then if you turn on the Object Y, it will select the symmetrical component up and down. The symmetrical component like vertically. So I selected this one, it selected the one below it. And then this one, and then it also selected the one below it. And then for because the Y value is basically the up and down position. So if I select Object Z, it will select the symmetrical component from the front and back. So there, front and back, right? So the same with face, it's the same with all the components. So there. However, if you the difference between this 6 options here, if you select the Object Symmetry Tool, and then you move this object or you place it in anywhere within the scene, the Object Symmetry Tool will still work because it is in the object mode. So even if your object is here, there, or anywhere here within the scene, it will still work. However, if you will select the world X or any of the world symmetry option, let me try to select one. It will not work. Why? Because your object is not positioned in the middle. For the world symmetry to work, it has to be positioned in the middle. So I will just position it back to the middle. I use this tool to position the object in the middle if ever that I move it out or like in other location inside the scene. So 0x 0z, it's already there. 0y 0z. So there we have put it back to the middle. So now I will try it again. There. So this option, the three options here, only works if your object is positioned in the middle. But this three options here, the object symmetry, it will work even if your object is positioned anywhere within the scene. So that's the difference between those options under the symmetry tool. So now let me just delete this, and we're going back to our skin. So I will turn on the object X mode. This I always use the object symmetry options, and then I will turn on the edge option because we are going to be attaching the horizontal edges. That's why I selected the X, because it will select the symmetrical edges from left to right. There. And then I will attach it here so that it will become just one object. There will be no gap, or like there will be no part that is cut. So how to do that? Go to Target Wield Tool. This tool will merge two edges or vertices into one single component. So it will basically combine the component together. It will only work with edges and vertices, not the faces. So I will turn that on, and then I will start combining the edges. So just, why is that working? Okay, it's not selected. So again, select the edge and then drag it. Hold the left clicker on your mouse and then drag it to the other edge facing it. There, it's already combined, right? So you just need to do that on all the remaining edges. Okay, it's combined. There, so you now have a single object, or the combined skin and mask. And now what we need to do next is, because there is like a hard line here, I don't like it. I want the skin to look smooth. I will select this entire edge loop where I see the hard lines. So I'm just basically holding the shift button and then double clicking on the edge, and then go to mesh display and then select soften edge. So there are no more hard lines, so it's perfect. So I already have the skin with the bust and the belly button in T-pose. So now I can work on my clothes. But before we do that, it's important that your skin has, we will assign certain material to the skin so that when it is worn by the avatar, it will adapt to the avatar skin color. So how do you do that? Go to Hyper Shade tool. This is the Hyper Shade tool. Or you can just basically right click anywhere which is empty within the scene. And then you can either click this, assign new material, but as you can see, there's already a skin shader here, or skin material. Just need to assign it to our skin. Or in the Hyper Shade tool, you can just point your mouse in the skin option, and then right click, hold the right click option on your mouse, and then drag it here and release. In the hyper shade option, this is where you can create materials. Like, we always need to use the Lambert one. So you can create one that, and then you can rename it. The extra Lambert one you cannot really change. You cannot really delete or rename it because this is like the default material. But yeah, that's basically how you create material that you can assign to your object, so that when you export it in Unity, you can assign the texture files that you want. And then now that we assign the right material to our skin, let me delete all history because there's a lot of history here. There. So that's what happened when you delete history. So there, under the attribute editor, you can go here or just click this one. You can see all the information about your objects here. Now that we have our skin, we can do the modeling for our clothes. But before that, if you would like to add like maybe a collarbone here and then abs, women's abs here, we can do that first before modeling our clothes. Or in my case, I always do the skin modification first before I even move on to the modeling of the clothes. So if you want to add collarbone here, you just need to do this. So we will be using the multicut tool. This is what it does. And I will go to vertex mode. So to create collarbone, let me just search for like the image so we will have our guide. Female collarbone. Close up. There. Let me do that. So to create a collarbone, perhaps I will cut it from here. Is it selected? From here to here. Up to here. It depends on you how long you would like the collarbone to be cut. I will just turn on the object X symmetry so that it will also reflect on the other side, and then there. So that's basically what the multicut tool does. So you can cut a straight line from one vertex to the other one if you select the vertex mode. But if you select the edge mode, there, it looks like that. But I usually just work with the vertex mode. So once you cut a straight line there, you can then move this line so that it will be above, or I mean we can like protrude this part here and it will look like a collarbone. And then maybe we just need to move like certain vertices. And then I will put it back here because as you can see here in the example, this part is deep, right? This one. So let's just follow our guide, and then this part maybe I'll adjust it back there. So it looks like this. Don't worry, it may look like it's like a harsh line, but we will fix that later when we work on our clothes. We will smoothen it. Then I have my collarbone, and you can still make adjustment to it. This is just an example. This is really not the actual thing that you will submit, but of course it's up to your imagination how you would like your collarbone to look like. But this is basically how you do it. Maybe adjust the vertices there. Okay, I think I will need to cut from here. There. And then also here. And here. I think I'm okay with the collarbone. I will turn this off. And then how to create the abs. So here's what I usually do. I will select this part here, so hold shift, and then maybe I will select this entire part here. No, I selected the wrong face. There. And then just select everything in between. I will just turn this on. It's easier. I always forget to do that, sorry. So there. And then I will move this frontward, or yeah, to create the illusion of the abs. And then let me look for a guide. It should look something like this, right? Maybe let me undo that. I will deselect this part. I just need this to, yeah. And then I think I will cut it here. So when you use multi-cut tool, I forgot to mention that earlier. So you will select two vertices, right? So that it will cut a straight line between the two vertices, and then you have to hit enter so that it will cut it. And then I will select this. And then this. No, not that. I think I have to cut there. And then go to edge mode. I will select this line and then this line up to here. And then I will need to have like an emphasis on the line so that the abs is actually visible. So to do that, I use Bevel. It will expand the selected components so that it will be like it will duplicate the component, something like that. So now I can just adjust these components here, or these edges. I think I'm okay with that. So I already have the female ab, and maybe I will adjust this part here because in the picture like it's wider here, right? So just keep adjusting until you get your desired result. And then adjust this one as well. There. So that's basically the idea of how you can add collarbone and abs on your skin. You can use this tool. This is the smooth. Basically, it will what it does, it divides the polygon so that it will look smoother. So if you select that one, it will look like this. So yeah, it smoothen the entire skin. But of course, if you do the smooth option, it will double the number of the triangle. So if you do that, make sure that you will cut the parts where it will be hidden by the clothes. Let me undo that. So from here, you can work on your clothes. And you can also, if you want to have like a rounder bust, you can also use the multicut tool to create that. Like it will look like this. And then also use the same method that I did here to emphasize the abs here. So that's how you basically modify the skin that you will use with your clothes. And then I will cut this part. I just basically showed you how to create a modified skin. And then in the next lesson, I will show you how to model clothes with the female skin that we just created. And I will end this lesson here, and then we will continue with the actual modeling of the item in the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and take care. Goodbye.